Okay, so I came out when I was halfway through 19 years of age, a lot earlier than I probably would have expected to come out. In fact, I never thought I would ever come out because I came from a very homophobic background. And that was through a variety of reasons, from religion to just very conservative family-based situations. But once I did come out, I sort of originally thought I would go to the court. It would be one night sort of a thing. I'd see what it's like and I would never do it again. But the moment I sort of got a taste of that freedom, I knew I wasn't going to go back, and I never wanted to hide who I was again. I knew, I guess, from a very young age, from the time, I guess, boys my age were going through puberty, looking at girls, I was noticing guys. And that was an early indication, but I guess I always knew I was different. I sort of internalized it and kept it a secret. I was very okay with it within myself, but I was not okay with other people knowing. And that was, I guess, a lot to do with my upbringing and I guess the conceptions that you grow up with, that people have on the gay lifestyle and how gay men are perceived in general in today's society, even up to now. So that caused me to internalize a lot of things, which is not, I guess, really healthy. And then when I eventually came out, it was with someone who I was in a 6-year relationship with, and we kind of went through the journey together. So that helped me, but also helped foster an unhealthy dependence, whereby we were both reliant on each other for that support, such that when we broke up 6 years later, I became very lonely and isolated and depressed as a result. I grew up in South Africa and I moved here when I was around the age of 10. My family are Muslims. And I guess on one side of the family, it's been accepted a lot more. I haven't really heard much about the other side of the family. I know they know now. I've told them within the last year, but it took 6 years for me to actually tell that side of the family. No one's ever messaged me from that side. But on that same side, I had an uncle who was gay. And tragically, he passed away from HIV. It was difficult growing up and hearing the things said about him and about the gay lifestyle. And it was only when I grew up and started educating myself, and I guess through age and learning about it as you come out, that you realize that the gay lifestyle, as heteronormative people put it, is only a byproduct of, I guess, the suppression of gay people wanting to live their life. And when you put people in a box and you're unable to even hold a person's hand that you love down the street, you're forced to execute those emotions in unhealthy ways, in secret ways. And I think that's where promiscuity and the casualness regarding the sexual lifestyle that gay men have has become the normal. So I learned that, and that was, I guess, a really important thing to discriminate from, because it's not the gay lifestyle itself, it's actually the cultural norms that people have and how that isolates gay people and forces them into that kind of a lifestyle. And I think it's ironic that that was an excuse used against gay people when it was the straight lifestyle that actually helped manifest that sort of stigma, if you like. So yeah. Like I said, I internalized it and I was okay with it, but outwardly I was very against people knowing. And it was very difficult, at least for the first 3 or 4 years, to say the words, I'm gay. Like, I remember telling friends at first before family, and it's just, I'd get to the point and I wouldn't be able to say the words. Like, they would be like, what is it that you need to tell me? And I was like, I'm, and I would struggle for sometimes up to half an hour with this person, this poor person sitting there. And eventually I would say the words. So I did definitely struggle with it. Especially when it came to my male friends, because I played, you know, football and sport. I had a lot of male, very stereotypical male friends, and while they accepted it, I think I lost a lot of those friends just because our interests kind of differed throughout the years, not through anything personal. I struggled with mostly what other people thought. And I think if I could go back to my younger self, the first thing I would say is your happiness is dependent on how you live your life. You only have one life and not what other people perceive of you. So just do what makes you happy. And I think that would be a really strong message to people coming out now. The people that you think are judging you are not actually going to be the ones 50 years from now when you're unhappy and alone and you've lived a life that you haven't gotten to live because you haven't allowed yourself to. It's not worth it. And what really surprised me when I came out was people's reactions to it. So everyone was very positive. Everyone I told, and in fact I changed a lot of opinions of the people that I did tell that were maybe homophobic before, but through this mutual association with someone that they empathized with, became much more understanding of the whole process of coming out, but also towards gay people in general, whether it was lesbian, gay, trans, or bi. Yeah. So positives were definitely liberation, expression, happiness, love, acceptance. The list goes on. Some of the negatives I would say was definitely a feeling of loneliness. No one understood me. I didn't have any real role models to look up to. Someone to go, that person did okay, therefore I think my life will be fine. It was always on me to make that trajectory happen and set an example for other people. And I took that upon me, I think, quite well, even up to now, where I try and be a person that other gay kids that are growing up might look up to and go, I can still be gay. And I hate using the word normal because there is no normal. Everyone, I think, when we put people into categories, we get rid of the sense of individualism, but also we dangerously isolate those that don't fit into the category, and that's traumatic to a kid and can have long-lasting effects on their emotional well-being. So I think it's important that, I guess, people just accept people for who they are, and that's it. So the first person I told was a mate that I had been in school with, and she had come out as a lesbian, but then went back into the closet and then come out again. And I don't remember if she was in or out of the closet when I told her, but I knew it was someone that definitely would understand my situation. And we went out that night and celebrated, and I felt very happy that I had someone who I could talk to about it finally, and that I could express all these emotions that I'd been hiding for years and years and years. And that was very exciting for me. And then I began telling other friends. I basically did it on a basis by which I chose the people that I thought would judge me less and told them in increasing order, and then eventually got to my family. Friends were fine, they were very supportive. I mean, I lost a lot of friends, not because they didn't accept me, but because I guess life moves on. You get different interests, and maybe I stopped going to uni with those people, so we stopped hanging around as much, but I don't think there was any negativity associated with any of the people I told. Yeah. It was all positive, and that was surprising because I thought a lot of people, I was surprised that homophobia mostly was in my head because most people actually are very accepting, but the few negatives that you hear can outweigh, at least subconsciously, all the positives, and that can change your mind with regards to telling people. Oh, that's complex. So
you can touch on as much as
yeah. So this is a tough question, and I don't know if my mum will watch, but hi, mum, or dad. Well, so I had a very tough coming out year, and basically I got to the point where I was so numb with everything that had happened that I basically just told my mum and was ready to just get kicked out. Like, I just had enough. I wanted to be who I was. I was unapologetic and so numb that I didn't think it would affect me any more than I had been affected by the events that had happened that year. Mum cried for a week, but she was fine with it and eventually told my dad, and that's when I freaked out because I'm like, his brother was gay and he got shunned by the family. I'm out. I'm definitely gone. But they were supportive. They asked me a lot of questions. I answered very open and liberally as I do, and it took them by surprise. I'm like, well, you asked the question. Now don't get upset. That was the initial, and my dad actually said to me, regardless of family or our close friends that might judge you, you're still my son and I love you above all, and that meant a lot. That was a really positive thing, and as far as things have changed, I think Mum has tried like we went and watched Holding the Man together, and yeah, she cried during the movie, and she will ask me like, who am I seeing, or how's my life now and again. With Dad, we've always just bonded over sport. Like, he does not want to talk about it or bring it up. So it's always a bit of a grey area, but I think given how hard, and this is not an excuse or a reason, but I think I've come to a point where at least we understand and respect each other enough to have our own views on life and just live side by side regardless, and I think that's okay. So when I came out, like I said, I didn't feel like I had anyone I could turn to. The people I spoke to and associated with were people I went out with, and that was always in a setting whereby it was late nights, you know, the party lifestyle, which was fun, but I think is, it's a bit of a shame, because I think young people are already at such a vulnerable point in their life just coming out of puberty, let alone having to deal with the fact that they're coming out, and then to be basically out alone in this world where you've got to discover who you are emotionally, sexually, where you fit in the spectrum. I definitely think, and there always needs to be, supportive campaigns or associations that are set up for younger people in a way that is more targeted. Because while these things exist, I don't think it's in your face enough, such that someone who is coming out will actively go and seek it. You're not aware of your vulnerable state. It's just something you go through. So to have that sort of in your face as you're coming out, whether it, I don't know, it's social media directed, basically on Instagram, something that's gonna be a constant reminder in the face of someone who's coming out, I think would be very helpful. So what I'm trying to say is these campaigns existed, but I never actually, one, I didn't really know where to go to find them, and two, even though they existed, they didn't really target my age group appropriately enough, such that I knew it was a resource I could call upon. And that left me basically alone when I came out. So yes, there has to be, and I think given the suicide rates, just in general among the younger group, but especially among LGBTQ youth, I think it's very, very important that we do more, to set up more resources to help these kids out. And I think it should span a range of things, from cultural and religious issues to coming out, and how those things can still be worked out, and reassure that person that regardless of your background, you'll still be okay, and you will still find people in this world that will support you. To me, one really bad kind of, I don't know if it's bad or good, but because the HIV rates in South Africa are so high, and given my uncle died of HIV, I was always super paranoid. I thought that if I basically slept with one guy, I was going to get AIDS and die. That's how ingrained it became into my mentality. So to shake that was a massive thing. I just think there needs to be more awareness made for people coming out. And not only, I guess I've been focusing on people in their teens, but I've got so many friends that have come out when they're 25, 26, 35. Everyone's journey is different, and I think that needs to be emphasized as well, that there is no shame in coming out whenever you come out, so long as you're happy. I think that's it. So yeah, okay, that was, I came out and I sort of had that one side of me in one aspect, and then I had the religious side of me on another aspect, but the two couldn't be reconciled in any way. And if you are somewhat religious, for me anyway, it says you're going to go to hell. So basically there is no future for you. Everyone, this is where I struggle to give an opinion because everyone is different, but for me I think as long as you're a good person and you're accepting of other people, no one's going to judge you if you believe in a God. I don't think it's up to any human being up here on this world to kind of judge you for who you are. It's going to come from up above, and I don't think that matters. I don't think your sexuality matters. It's how you treat people. It's being honest. It's being humble. It's, you know, having good moral values that are going to count. I think it's wrong in the first place for one religion to go, this is the right religion and you're all going to go to hell. Because if there's a God, why would he have created everyone different just to put a subset of people into heaven? I think that in itself answers the question as to whether these religions that exist today actually are the right religions. But that doesn't preclude the fact that there might be or might not be a God, and I think there is. I just don't think that God functions through any of the religions that we have today. And I think as a LGBTQ growing up in any sort of religious, with any sort of religious background, your journey is your own, but you need to, I guess, find a medium on how you deal with that. Everyone's going to be different. For me, I guess I rejected any of the mainstream religions and just settled on the fact that there's a higher power, because that's how I sleep at night. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially if you believe that religion is a construct in society, much like gender norms. So